Hey Stargazers, Arik here, and welcome to Weekly Horoscope with yours truly, Arik Xander. Okay, you guys, this is a big week. February is generally really intense, but we have Valentine's Day this week, and on Valentine's Day 2026, the planet Saturn is going to leave the final degrees of the whole zodiac, the final degree of the whole zodiac, and is going to move into the first degree, Aries. It's going to be a reset. Now, if you remember, not too long ago, Neptune moved into the first degree of the whole zodiac, also Aries. Saturn is going to be moving in there also. It's like the toilet bowl is gonna flush. All of the karma, everything is being reset. Okay, so it's amazing. So that's going on this week. There's other things going on as well, and I want to talk about them because we're going to have a build up into that week, into that day, I mean. And the week is really about turning our awareness about everything that's been going on into action. So what are you doing now? So Saturn moving into Aries is very much complementing the stars this week because Saturn asks, who's in charge? What is going on? Who is responsible here? And we are asked kind of like, are we initiating out of our desires, or are we initiating out of being kind of reactive to things, being reactive to life? Are we being reactive to fear? So it can feel a little bit like with Saturn moving into Aries, like initiations, things are getting blocked, okay? It can feel like that. Maybe things are getting stalled. Saturn is slowing down the impatience, the impulsiveness, and it's not punishing us. It's just kind of like, this is the signal. This is the energy that Saturn is broadcasting. It's like putting the brakes on a little bit and saying, let's walk before we can run. So what does that kind of translate into? Because what is really important to Aries, one of the most important things to Aries, is freedom. So Saturn comes in and says, freedom does not come from doing whatever you want. It comes from having rules. It comes from having boundaries. I remember I had to learn that the hard way because, of course, like growing up, Southern California, Los Angeles, and it's like, what do you mean freedom is having rules and boundaries? Because you need to know like where the edge is so that you can break it, so that you can work inside of that framework. I think food is an amazing example. There are recipes for a reason. It's like Link. He can try to cook something in Hyrule, and sometimes it comes out like mush. And it's inedible, and it gives you like a quarter of a heart, okay, in your health. And okay, so I had the freedom to do whatever I wanted there. Great. It's a good learning experience, but the true freedom comes from knowing what works, what doesn't work, and then creating something amazing from that. So our hearts want to emerge. We want to speak languages. We need to know the letters, the words, we need to know the rules. Otherwise, nobody's going to understand us. Just so the work comes to us with whatever we are doing, and we need to do whatever it is that we're doing without being immature. So we need to be like mature about it, acting boldly, for example, without burning out. Doing actions from self-respect, not from the need to prove our worth to other people. None of that, okay? Saturn is coming in there and saying, what's going on? So it can feel like a disruption, but it's really giving us confidence back. It's giving us freedom. It's going to also activate love, not in a rushing way and not in a forceful way. Now, I have to also say Aries is a sign of war. So with Neptune and Saturn there, it's like wars of love. Wars where where there's lack of love, and I mean it's kind of almost it hurts to even say that, because it's like we know that the world needs love, but what we can do, each and every one of us, is act with intention. Patience is going to be the name of the game with Saturn in Aries. Courage, not the loud kind, the quiet courage that allows you to act from love and with love. Amazing. If you want some guidance with this, my 2026 forecast, it's there if you need it. It can help you guide yourself through that. Beautiful. So, the week, any insights that you've had, let them land. They do not need to stay only in your head. Being mental, let the insights land. They're meant to show up in how you are living your life, quietly, practically, day by day. Again, walking the talk. It's not a week for big announcements or dramatic moves. It's more about showing your values in action in the small stuff. The small stuff. So it's the little choices that we're making this week that are going to have lots of heavy consequences. Sometimes in the cosmos, it's like we're granted like a little bit of a buffer. It's like, okay, we're going to mess up. It's a little bit lighter. And other times it's heavier. And even the little things can be huge. So things are carrying more weight than usual. So don't get angry, be calm, look at the way that you're responding to people and things. What are you following through on? Look at this. So we don't want to, the approach is to be proactive. We don't want to ignore things, because what's going to happen, the things that we ignore, they're going to shape our reality. So if we want trust and stability and self-respect, we need to kind of be mature and respond to those things. Even if it doesn't feel like it's big in the moment, just take an extra minute to say, maybe there's something else that you could be doing. Because I'm also telling you that Saturn in Aries on Valentine's Day, there's going to be some major relationship stuff shifting as well. Venus, the planet of love and money, is going to move into Pisces midweek. So, okay, there's a lot of changes going on in relationships, money, these kinds of things. It's interesting because with Saturn and Aries, I remember someone telling me there was a time when this person was trying to prove their worth, okay? Pushing forward, proving themselves, being number one, starting very quickly, taking on too much even, all right? And when things slowed down, some problems started to come up because they were mistaking strength, for thinking that being urgent was giving them strength. And this is typical Saturn and Aries lesson. So freedom, again, is not coming from pushing and forcing things, but again, moving slower, having the discipline, choosing deliberately and building on something that can last, building your own empire. And so this, in the story of this person, they had to learn that and they did it and it was good. But it's sometimes you just got to put on those brakes and then you can start to look around and see what can be built, which is absolutely amazing. Going back again to Venus moving into Pisces, again, the last sign of the zodiac. So all of the energy around relationships, money, like I said, it's going to soften before Saturn moves into Aries. But, Venus and Saturn, they're also going to be in alignment. So we need to have using that energy for more forgiveness, more compassion, more emotional sensitivity. But the clarity still matters. Sometimes Pisces energy can blur everything around. So we need to make sure that we're still having clarity. Being kind does not mean being ambiguous or being unclear. So very important. And also the Venus and Pisces energy can make us more open, but it doesn't mean you cannot have boundaries. What do I always say? My students know this. You cannot spell boundaries without Aries. So we still need the boundaries because this is not about romantic fantasy with Venus and Pisces. It's about real attunement. You think of yourself and your relationships like you're tuning forks. Ding, and then you vibrate at the same level. And sometimes they can't handle it. And other times you're creating these amazing overtones. So it's about showing up for each other without losing the other person. Because when we lose ourselves in the relationship, then the relationship crumbles because then you're not there. So we need to create something new, but not, replace ourselves with it. So, this week is gonna once again bring up a lot of stuff. And so we need to just be calm and, breathe through this. Because the week has very little patience for being out of alignment. So when your actions are not matching what you value, the friction's going to show up in our face. It's going to show up, okay? And fast. And it's going to be very exhausting. So we want to align with what it is that we mean and what's important to us, because our nervous system, our body will know right away. So stay honest with yourself. Stay true to yourself. Things will feel calmer. They will feel cleaner. They will be more simple. That is the main energy of the week. Very good. So, addressing the tension, repairing the things, putting your insights, the things that you've seen, into action. By the end of the week, you'll be ready for Saturn moving into Aries, and then that whole transit that's going on, because then Saturn is going to meet up with Neptune, and it's going to be gigantic. I did a huge forecast on this when last time Saturn met with an outer planet was Pluto, and we had a pandemic shortly after. So now Saturn's meeting up with Neptune. Let's be prepared. Let's do the work. I mean, I've been telling my people now, those of you who work with me, follow me, we got to start working now for this, because this is a lot of energy and it's in Aries. So once again, let's be peaceful. Let's walk our own talk. Beautiful, you guys, because then our nervous system can chill out and the trust is going to come back. Amazing week. Now I want to get into the dailies. Wonderful. So the day that begins the week is February 8th. And on February 8th on the chart, I see that we have Venus is going to square planet Uranus. So there's a little bit of restlessness, especially as she's about to shift out of Aquarius and into Pisces. So it might be things that we wanted, they start to feel a little bit limiting, okay? And something unusual, this is the energy of Uranus, might catch our attention a little bit more. So be careful of being impulsive. So notice kind of where you want more space or you want more communication. If there's a disruption, it's giving you information. It's not distracting you. Okay, so really, it's okay. Look at it. Okay, February 9th, Tuesday, Venus is then moving like, okay, like really in these last degrees, going into Pisces. We spoke about this, more beauty, more compassion, but also the blurriness. So let yourself feel, but don't disappear. Okay, very good. Wednesday, Mars is going to be making an aspect to Saturn and Neptune. Oh my goodness, creating like this push-pull, exhaustion, motivation, confusion. Like you feel like you want to go forward, but you keep hitting this resistance. So don't push through the fatigue. Just check with your actions. Are you aligned with what it is that's important? Okay. Then on, let's see, Thursday, the chart. Okay, no, wait, hold on. Sunday, did I go into Monday? Okay, skipped Monday, so that was the 9th. I'm sorry about that. But there's really nothing going on other than like, we're just getting ready for Sunday. I'm sorry, for Saturday, Saturn moving into Aries. I want to talk about Thursday though, because Mercury is going to be aspecting Chiron. Our minds are going to be a bit like bringing up the old wounds, so we need to practice our self-talk and be gentle with like our inner stories, because I feel like there's also, we're going to see more clearly, because also the sun is going to be making a connection there as well, so it's going to be shining more light onto these things, especially when you consider that Mars aspect with Neptune and Saturn. So just slow down enough to see and to hear what your intuition is trying to say. And then on Friday the 13th, we have that going on as well this week. So that is the day before Saturn is moving into Aries, and we feel Saturn in the final degree of the zodiac. All of the karma is coming up. All of like the sewage is just backed up. Everything is coming up. It can be very empowering though if we want to get rid of the crap. That's what this is about. So my goodness, I cannot believe we have a Friday the 13th. Can be very lucky, or if you're superstitious, my goodness, like let's just open ourselves up to love, taking responsibility, and being courageous in love as well, because on Saturday, that is the big day and everything is being awakened. Wow. So we want to make it a spiral up and not a downgrade, going down. So now let's talk about the horoscopes for each sign. Let's begin with Aquarius, because we are in your season, Aquarius. Your solar return is going on for the next week still, and then we're moving into Pisces season. All right. So, Aquarius, it's about understanding. So what you believe matters less than how you are living it. There will be some emotional exchanges that are getting a little bit lighter because Venus is moving out of your sign, and it's going to offer a chance to reconnect with people you care about without pressure. So when you're choosing alignment over this cold detachment, there's going to be some stability. By the way, everybody, I do have a new site, and there I have in-depth horoscopes for the week, the month, and the year. That's all categorized, so you can really get in there and go a bit deeper also with the forecast. Moving on to Pisces. It's all about relationship energy. Venus is moving into your sign. I would say that kindness is working best when you're having your boundaries. So this is a week to live your values in simple, tangible ways as your actions are matching what it is that you want to do. And then a deep sense of peace is going to settle in. Aries, it's a big week. Saturn's moving into your sign. So slow down. Let choices speak louder than your big ideas right now. And notice where consistency matters more than speed. Taurus, there's going to be a shift in your behavior, but it's going to bring you some stability. So you're very sensitive to misalignment between what you value and what you tolerate. And I can see that relationships are going to benefit from gentle, honest, clear emotional boundaries. So you might be a bit uncomfortable, but you can address them and you're going to build trust. Gemini, it's the week to apply your insights, conversations, routines, habits. It's all going to reveal whether you have integrated them or not. So small adjustments in communication is going to rebuild trust and reduce the mental friction. Cancer, your emotions are very high. You're feeling this all. It's a very powerful week to repair yourself. So acts of care, especially very practical ones, they're going to be more powerful than reassurance. So when your actions are going to reflect your feelings, your relationships this week, they're going to get some stability. So you're going to feel a sense of wholeness that's going to come like a nice, good energy at the end of the week. Leo, walk your talk, all right? You're being asked to really stand without needing recognition. There will be some relationship drama that's going to ease up by the middle of the week, and it's going to give you a chance to restore being a bit more empathic with the people around you rather than trying to be in control. So when your effort is matching this, things are going to be more simple. They're going to be more grounded. Virgo, I don't have to tell you this, but very small corrections are going to go a very long way. So you're going to notice where habits are no longer supporting your values. So instead of avoiding tension, address it directly because it's going to give you a lot of relief. I can see also there's going to be some relief, some forgiveness. But you're gonna have to still keep your boundaries to protect your well-being, okay? But you're gonna get some forgiveness, from yourself or from somebody. I don't know, but it's that energy is coming through the stars. Libra, it's all about fairness and accountability. You wanna confront things to heal because the avoidance isn't gonna get you anywhere, especially in close relationships. So there's emotional sensitivity that's going to increase, but the clarity is going to keep things from becoming murky, is the word I want to use. So when your actions are aligning with your sense of harmony, the true sense of harmony, trust will be reestablished and the inner balance that you live for it's gonna return. Scorpio, quiet choices are going to reshape the dynamics this week. So you're very aware of what is draining you and what is nurturing you. So address the underlying tension because it's going to restore you faster than remaining silent. Okay? And by the weekend, you're going to get some clarity and it's going to help uplift some unease. Sagittarius, follow through with whatever it is you're doing. Ideas, insights that you've gained, you got to express them. Relationships are going to kind of like benefit from your presence rather than your promises. So open up for emotional understanding, but stay grounded. It's going to keep things real. And last but not least, Capricorn, you can be responsible in very small, meaningful ways when you are aligning your actions with long-term values so that the stress is going to ease big time. What does that mean? So you can repair maybe some relationship issue by doing that. By strengthening your ability to trust the other person. So it's not going to be a big dramatic change, but it's going to give you like a sense of internal order. So that is the horoscopes for the 12 signs. You guys have a wonderful week. Please feel free to share this with anybody in your reality that you think needs to hear it. And I'll catch you on the next one. Bye.